Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Chestnut channel. I'm in the studio today. We are into the month of May, which is our month for Macpherson. The Clan Macpherson is featured for May on the Chestnut channel and the Clan Hatton Association channel. If you've been following along with us throughout 2024 and now into 25, we have 12 Hatton clans in our confederation, as I hope you know, and we have 12 months in our calendar. One clan per month, Macpherson for May. I'd like to do a little segment here about from a part of something called the Inverashy book. I'm pronouncing it Inverashy. It's written by a Macpherson who passed in 1705. He lived from 1644 to 1705, I believe. This is a large collection of documents, writings, lists, and genealogies and other things that he obtained from many sources. Some, I believe, he hand wrote over from other documents. Some of them are direct copies into this. So I'd like to take a look at this. It's called the Battle of Invernahoven, Part 2. Battle of Invernahoven, which was a prelude to what you may know, may be familiar with the Battle of the North Inch at Perth, which is where the Smith and Gow came into the Macpherson fold at that time. So this is certainly a contentious story because there are so many versions of just what clans were in what battles at the time. A lot of it has to do with translation from the Gaelic to English and such. A lot of controversy what clans were involved and when and who. So I need to say this is a version. Okay. This is going to start out with the familiar story of some of the a little bit different take on it, though, very different from my view, of the marriage of Eva to the Mackintosh chief, beginning the time when Mackintosh became chief of Clan Hatton. Okay? In the year 1291, MacDonald, King of the Isles, which title he had acquired in virtue of an invitation from the other chiefs to lead them against the Danes, and afterwards by a marriage with the heiress of the Danish monarchy in Skye. He sent his nephew, Angus Mackintosh of that ilk, to Dougal Dall Magillahatton, chief of the Clan Hatton, to acquaint him that the king intended to visit him. So he's sending Mackintosh to tell Hatton that MacDonald is coming to visit him. At this time, it was a custom when the king or lord paid a visit to any of his vassals that he was presented with the daughter, or failing a daughter, the wife of the vassal, for his companion for the night, if required. This barbarous custom, though seldom practiced, Magillahatton knew would not be dispensed with upon this occasion. And having an only daughter, in order to prevent the bad consequence he foresaw would happen, he offered this daughter in marriage to Mackintosh, together with his estate and the chiefship of the Clan Hatton. This event accordingly took place, and Mackintosh by this means became captain or leader of the Clan Hatton. So we have to take that into context of the times, my friends. Absolutely do. The greatest part of Mackintosh's estate, thus being acquired, had for a considerable time been let to the Camerons, and they having often refused to pay the stipulated rent, Mackintosh was often obliged to seize their cattle, in consequence of which several conflicts ensued between them. Sorry, very run-on sentence here, extremely. With various successes, and as that of Invernahoven in Badenoch gave rise to the one on the north inch of Perth, I shall briefly relate both. 2 battles. About the year 1296, so this is 5 years later than after the marriage, the Camerons convened their numerous clans and dependents together with such others as they could prevail upon to assist them, such as Campbells, MacDonalds, etc., to make reprisals on Mackintosh, who, knowing their intention, soon collected an equal force, consisting also of several clans under the general name of Clan Hatton, to oppose them. But when the 2 armies came in sight, an unreasonable difference arose between the 2 of these clans, the Macphersons and Davidsons. Though they both agreed that Mackintosh should command the whole as captain of Clan Hatton, they could not agree who should have the right of the other, meaning the right-hand side of the leader. Macpherson of Cluny contended for it, for as chief of the Clan Hatton, and Davidson of Invernahoven as being head of another branch equally ancient. The dispute was at length referred to Mackintosh as captain for judgment, who imprudently decided in favor of Davidson of Invernahoven. I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. Invernahaven, which gave offense to Macpherson of Cluny, that he drove off his men who stood idle spectators to the battle, while the Mackintoshes and Davidsons, overpowered by numbers, were defeated. Mackintosh, being irritated and disappointed by the behavior of the Macphersons, on the night following sent his own bard to the camp of the Macphersons, masquerading as a Cameron bard, to provoke them to fight, which he accompanied by repeating the following satirical lines. I won't attempt the Gallic. Here's the English. The false party are on the field, beholding the chief in danger. It was not your love to us that made you abstain from fighting, but merely your own cowardice. Them's fighting words. This reproach so stung Macpherson that, calling up his men, he attacked the Camerons with much fury that same night in their camp and made a dreadful slaughter of them, pursued them to the foot of Bininhai, and killed their chief, Charles Magaloni, at a place called Quarchirlock, or Charles Valley. Though the above conflict put an end to the dispute with the Camerons at that time, it did create another equally dangerous feud. There's another word here I can't see, but some of this document is bad. Dangerous feud between the Macphersons and the Davidsons. These 2 were perpetually plundering and killing each other, insomuch that the king sent Lindsay, Earl of Crawford, and Dunbar, Earl of Moray, 2 of the greatest noblemen in the kingdom, to compromise matters between them and reconcile them. This was found impossible to do without bloodshed, and gave rise to the celebrated Trial of Valor at the North Inch of Perth, which happened on a Monday before the feast of St. Michael, in the time of Robert III, in the year 1396. Now, my friends, this is why I have to be careful here. There's another part right in this same document in Vereshie book that says it was Robert II and not the first. This one says it was the third. So that's one of the controversies I'm mentioning. The Scottish historians say it was fought between Clan Hatton and Clan Kay, the last they supposed to be the Mackays instead of Clan Kay or Davidsons. This is very complicated. Clan Dye is Davidson, pronounced Kay sometimes, I believe, meaning that they thought the Mackays were at this battle when perhaps it was actually Davidsons against Macphersons, or against Hattons. Now for the battle. It was agreed that the Macphersons and Davidsons should each choose 30 men from the general clans who were to fight before the king in court, and the conquerors were ever after to be the superior. In other words, this fight is going to stop this once and for all, stop the feud. Whoever wins this, the fight will be over and no more of it, is the intention. The north inch of Perth was chosen as the field of battle, and the combatants were allowed no other weapons but broadswords. Another point of other stories having different weapons featured. The day appointed being come, both parties appeared, but upon mustering the combatants, the Macphersons wanted one of their number, he having fallen sick. It was proposed to balance the difference by withdrawing one of the Davidsons. But so resolved were they upon conquering their opponents that no one would be prevailed upon to quit the danger. In this emergency, one Henry Wynd, or Wind, W-Y-N-D, a foundling, brought up at Perth, commonly called Angob Crom, i.e. the Crooked Smith. This man was a blacksmith, my friends. He offered to supply the sick man's place for a French crown of gold, about 3 half-crowns sterling money, a great sum in those days. Everything now being settled, the combatants began with incredible fury, and the Crooked Smith, being an able swordsman, contributed much to the honor of the day, victory declaring for the Macphersons, of whom only 10 besides Gob Crom were left alive, and all were dangerously wounded. The Davidsons were all cut off except one man, who, remaining unhurt, threw himself into the Tay and escaped. Henry Wynd set out from Perth after the battle with a horse load of his effects, and he swore he would not take up his habitation till his load fell from his horse, which happened in Strathdon, in Aberdeenshire, where he took up residence. The place is still called Lech Agoban, i.e. the Smith's dwelling. The Smiths or Gows in Maglashans are commonly called Slech or Gob Crum, the descendants of the Crooked Smith. All but agreed that he had no posterity, though he had many followers to the first rank, to the number of 12. Okay, so I'm reading that he has no family but 12 followers, 12 apprentice smiths, who were proud of being reputed the children of so valiant a man. And the more to ingratiate themselves in his favor, they generally learned to make swords as well as to use them, which occasioned their being called Gow or Smith. His 12 apprentices spread themselves all over the kingdom. Most of them took the name Macintosh, those who write otherwise their own descent from them, though many of them are Macphersons, etc. So that's a pretty interesting take on the Battle of Invernahaven and the Battle of North Inch at Perth. I have to watch it when I'm talking about the Smiths. There's a lot of different versions of this, probably 5 I've come across so far, at least, and very complicated way that they've come up with who they think was there. These Gallic phrases and their interpretations are very touchy, my friends, very, very touchy. Some of them have gone on for 100 years. People thought it meant this or that, and then someone came up with an idea it was another clan. And this happens very, very often with these old documents. They get people take another look at them, a fresh look, right? In modern times and modern thinking, sometimes things come out different. That's just how it is. So I hope you enjoyed that. Please stay with us for Macpherson month in May. And I'll try to get some more out of this Invernahaven book. It's very interesting. It's extremely varied. It has tons of information in it. I'll never get through all of it in a month. But I'll be back with some more Macpherson month in May. Please subscribe, my friends. Touch not.